Hello again, everybody. Thank you for joining me on All Things Possible. It is Thursday evening, the first of the month. Happy July. Happy halfway through the year. Happy. Thank you for joining me again. I have my friend, I call her the Unicorn Lady. Um, I've had her on my page, Sunni, for a long time, years. I know we've been following each other, and her post inspires and lift me up. And she says mine says to her. And so we have built a friendship where we lift each other up and the people around us. I asked her to come on. Like I said, just watching her in her life, her posting. Hello, my love. Okay, if you see where you say request to go on camera, if you click on that, I'm going to try to see if I can pull you on. Um, yeah, so just watching her in the last couple of years, and okay, there you go. Recently, this year, she had a major, what we would say, loss, and I use that word loosely, but watching the way she carries herself. I don't know what internally that you might be going through, but the way you carry yourself as such a queen, as such a unicorn to me. I wanted you to come on and just share your journey with us and let us know what you do to help stay in a vibration of love. Okay, because that's where I see you. All right, so I'm going to get ready to bring on my friend. Let's get the drum roll ready. Ooh. And oh no. Oh man, my drum roll was so soft.
Oh, it will be
Yeah, you're here. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you say?
it will become a mighty roar.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming on today.
You got me. Um,
I
um,
got I got you in tears.
yes.
Oh my goodness, another one I do easily too. So let's come on, control it because I have eyeliner on today. But like I said, I love your spirit so much. You say I lift you up. You lift me up too. And I just wanted to come on and have you come on and share some of your tips. Like I said earlier this year, I know your other half has transitioned, and not to bring that up and hurt, but the way and what you're doing afterwards is what I would hope to be like, as we lose people that are close to us. Not lose. I don't like losing. I'm using that term lose so much because you didn't lose them. But as he has transitioned on, the way that you're carrying yourself and the things that you're doing to keep yourself uplifted by surrounding yourself by people that love you, by going out still into the public and just, participating in life still. I admire that and I look up to that. I just want to say that before we begin. I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself, who you are.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, my name is Sunny. My family calls me Sunny Gail,
Oh,
usually with some kind of twang with
yes.
it. As I have shifted the way I speak and my expectations of the entire cosmos around me,
Love it.
the people around me call me Lady Unicorn,
Mm-hmm.
and that really is my favorite name.
Yeah.
Um,
It suits you.
yes, uh, there's the hardest part about starting this story is where do you start the story?
I
Because
know.
like over this, over this, over
It
this.
starts when you came out your mom's vagina, really.
Exactly. When I birthed myself, I moved back into the garage of my mother 5 years ago, and I had this. I started doing CrossFit. I was living in the garage of my mother because her husband had just died, and I couldn't see going into the world and doing the things that I do for money when we had everything we really needed. I
Yeah.
just needed to be there with them. And I was feeling really low about myself, pretty freaking low about myself, living in the garage. And I was tripping through the living room, and the television changed one day. And this thought pops into my head. you told me you wanted to be a badass, and you wanted to know what being a badass was.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna show it to you. And I look, and it's these swamp people. There's this woman riding in this little bitty boat down the bayou, and they live 10 minutes from me.
Yeah.
And this man had lost his partner, and it was first day of alligator season, and he needed a partner to help him because this was their livelihood. His wife said yes. And uh, next thing I know, this woman is pulling a 500-pound alligator out of the water while her husband aims a shotgun at her or the gator, depending on who is being stronger. And I burst into tears. I mean, I burst into tears that day because I said, God, I'm never going to, I'm not ever going to do that. And this makes me very sad. This is my neighbors. I can't be as badass as my neighbor. God self said, wait, hold up. You know, you like everybody to like you and you want to be nice. And it's tough for you to go into primal energies, you know. Facing other people's primal energies is really to you facing an alligator. It's the same situation because you like to be liked. You want to help everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to develop a tough skin, and
Wow.
you need to be able to go into people's primal energies and capture them for your monies, for your livelihood, for your people's livelihood. This is where you need to be.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to myself, I said yes to this because, well, you know, what do you do when God says,
Yeah.
you want it?
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to myself, there was a man before I was born he was a medicine man of a Homos tribe who wanted to separate from his tribe, and his elders made him slay an alligator with a tomahawk.
Wow.
Right? And then he had to leave that incident and go straight to hit the road with nothing but his shoes and a little bag. No car, no money, nothing. He had to go learn the way of people. And let me tell you, as somebody who has been homeless and somebody who has had to slow way down in order to hear the divine lead me to
Yeah.
where I'm supposed to go. Um, I had to slow real down. I had to slow way down. I, you know, as I lived in the garage, I said, finally, after a year, I became my mom's husband, by the way. First day of living in the garage, I go hand her her coffee, and I say all the words that he said to her that I never ever heard him say.
Wow.
I became him.
Yeah.
And so I knew that, you know, as a Reiki master, I've been taught that entities stay with us. If we want them to stay, they will stay with us.
Mm-hmm.
So I became him, and I weaned my family off of him and then moved him to my brother when it was time. My stepbrother. I moved it
Yeah.
out of my family and where it needed to go. And next thing I thought, well, I can I can manifest anything. I'm getting out of this garage. And I manifested an apartment with my free will. And then
Yeah.
God to me for about 10 months and then said, I'm going to take that away from you. You need to go somewhere else. And I learned homelessness. I lived homelessness for 10 months and then careened into New Orleans. And then New Orleans is my soul. The city of New Orleans will give you anything whatsoever you ask her, especially if it's hidden
Oh.
in you. She's pretty badass. Every block of every sidewalk, every corner, every curb, probably every house has some sort of moniker on it calling down the energies of creation.
Wow.
So I speak to her like she is divine.
Yeah.
I tell her thank you for everything because she would give it to me, like anything whatsoever that I ask for.
Yeah.
In the process of this being badassery and asking for that, I wanted to be a New Orleans icon. As if that is a job that you can fill out. Like,
Yeah.
just here's the
You
application.
just wanted to be a part of the energy. Wait, I wanna interrupt for a second because my mind is going. What happened to the alligator guy? Well, the medicine man.
I'm still getting to that.
Okay. I know.
As I'm careening, as I am careening into homelessness, and then I get moved into New Orleans. New Orleans, I had told New Orleans that I couldn't afford her. Suddenly, she moves me into a yoga studio and this beautiful apartment above the yoga studio, and I had to pay nothing but the water. It was like she was,
I've had miracles like that too.
bam.
Whew.
And next thing you know, I'm on the street, and when I wake up in the morning, I hear the streetcar. And I start going through these neighborhoods, and I'm like, hello, I'm your healer. I mean, I know who I am, right? People said that for us. They looked at me and they said, we have Red Hawk. I thought to myself, what? Who is this Red Hawk? I will be back owning him. He's sitting right here with me. And sure enough, the next day I went out to walk the dog, and I feel it. I feel this presence. So I walk to the edge of the street. I can hear this native flute music coming down the streets of New Orleans. There he was, right in the middle of the block in this old New Orleans house, sitting on the porch, holding this walking stick, sunglasses, um, holding the whole neighborhood with his vibe, holding the whole neighborhood. And I mean, I wasn't smart enough at that time to know what I was dealing with. I just couldn't recognize it. So for 30 days, I would just go around it. You don't approach wild animals. Like, I would let him see me, and then I
You're
would
observing.
I would let him see me, and then I'd walk off. Then I walked through his bubble with two different men. I don't know what that was about. But next thing you know, I had this very uncatchable, uh, very wild, uh, not alive human that wasn't really being. He was just existing. And um, somehow I had shown him that I could give him life. And um, he asked me to love him. And so, part of my behavior is knowing this was part of my agreement. This man was dead. His eyes were slate gray. He wasn't in his body. There's, it's, I don't know how to describe it except when you understand energies and you
I do.
understand body.
I do understand a sense of that too. I know about walk-ins. I know about people also making soul agreements that they will leave the body at a certain time and so forth. And so I understand what you say. I've also seen people that you look at them and they're just existing. There's nothing there.
There's nothing that.
And that's kind of how they approach life. So just real quick to run by, so you've seen him and you kind of approach him and took on the energy and felt it out, in other words, until you guys, and then
I allowed it to build. I didn't chase anything. I allowed myself to be pulled. That's the amazing thing about relationships. When you're really meant, there is no doing or there. It's just this magical event, and everything around you is magical. Like the whole world is falling in love with you. Like everything is in sync. Everything.
It's to me one of the, that and having and watching your child, as you watch, like for me, on babies, my babies particularly, when I seen the baby hair on their face, and I was like, that was made inside of me. That feeling, and then being in love, untouchable. God in its all existence, for sure.
It's all existence, and it brought that man back to life.
Yeah. Oh.
Moon with the Rebirth brass band playing every night down our street. I mean, we were in love. And he asked me, he said, are you afraid of this? And, I look back at the relationships that I have and it said, it seems I'm uniquely qualified. Like, and he said to me, darling, and I mean, this man, fifth generation Homos, all New Orleans, just yet all the way. They speak the language of their own, and he said, darling, when I die, I want to crawl up into your vagina and live through your cells. And I had a moment of like, now I done had my stepdad. Like, what's it like to have a full-fledged medicine man? What's it like to
so
this
funny, but
homeboy?
that's also so spiritual in a sense. I know it sounds crazy to some people, but I so get it. I so understand what he meant, like, by saying that. And I know you do too. That's why I'm laughing, because of course it sounds funny, but I understand.
What Mary Magdalene did. This is the story of Mary Magdalene and Jesus. It's, before I met him, I told God I wanted a super unicorn Viking Messiah.
And God
so
gave you that.
Did, and asked me to love him. And the next day, his eyes were like yours, dancing, chocolate brown little boy eyes. And I mean, I came in, I was like, what happened here? This power that love has.
Oh,
and
my
he
God.
expressed his regrets. He expressed his regrets to me. And I said, listen, if I give you 3 years, what would you do with it? And he lit on fire.
Yeah.
He lit on fire.
His fire ignited yours too, because I would see when you post together, the connection that you guys have. You shared that with us as well. I didn't even know this was what this topic was going to be on. I went on here free will, just free writing, and that just encouraged and blessed my heart to hear. Of one of the things you said, first of all, was that you didn't chase that love. You allowed that to kind of just blossom. And the universe has a way of bringing people together that are meant to be together.
It does.
And you don't have to work for it. Oh, that's so good. I just want to marinate in that for a second. And you don't have to work for it. I love that.
Oh my God, it's yours. It already exists. There's a partner for you right now that is dreaming of putting himself all up on you.
Yeah.
What I find is an evolution within me of a yes. Where when it comes to love and partnerships, there's soft no's that live within women. And to be able, utilized my time of grief, my time, my power in this moment, I've utilized that to shift my sexuality and my being into a full yes person.
Yeah.
Oh, because if you're trusting the universe, and I mean, I felt like my beloved, and by the way, that little green boat was outside of his house. He got an alligator claw the night he met me that he wore around his neck.
Wow. Yes, there's always signs and synchronicities. That's a good point. Yes, there's always signs and synchronicities that you're on the right path.
He was going to make me badass.
I got chills all over just remembering that one too.
Yes. And listen, that's what it was. I attracted in him, what if the universe wants me to have somebody who's not of my race? What if the universe wants me to have somebody who's not of my culture? What if he's old? What if he doesn't have teeth? What if he's slow? What if he's moneyless? What if he's on disability? What if he's homeless?
Yeah.
What if
worst case scenarios? Yeah.
What if he's gonna die? What if he abandons me? This man was all of it for me.
That's another thing too, right? It's like love is taking a chance. It's just taking a chance. Under what if you're willing to go through and see what if.
Yes.
All right, now you're coming on here having church with me in my heart today.
Listen, he's my purpose.
I didn't even know
he,
I didn't even know what we were going to talk about, but I know it was going to be good. And this was something that I hope it resonates with all who's watching because it's hitting home for me.
I really truly wish to share the magic of my life with everyone. And I made that cognitive decision to make it magical. And, I was gifted a magical man. I mean, and the simplicity of things that he has taught me. I really do want to talk about how I've navigated his transition. The way we as people, if I could banish one statement, it'd be, I'm sorry. I would just like jerk it from the tongues of everyone around me and throw it away.
I know. There's a couple of when someone transitions, some of the things people say automatically, not really. I guess maybe at that point they may have not been in the experience themselves to know that because there's some things that you just don't say. That's one of them. I'm
It's
sorry.
even as you said. Well, we're going to talk about your loss, and the thing about transition, especially in love with your person,
Mm-hmm.
is there's so much love. It's the same as when a baby is born. There's so much love. It's powerful and it's
Yeah.
powerfully creative. And
Yeah.
like every little thing is creating, and you're on this movement. And you're just picked up. For me, I
Yeah.
was picked up on this unicorn raft. Now, I had a man who intentionally spent 3 years of his life in adoration of me for giving him his heart's needs. So the power that two of us have, our intention, our coming together, our heart's desire for the world, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's not about matching yourself to somebody that you can live with. It's about matching yourself to someone who can change the entire world with simple things. I mean, this man made me call Circle once a month. He made me call Circle with the people in my community. He made me open myself and be vulnerable and ask these same people who had stabbed and wounded me to just open myself. I'm going to be at the park and I'm going to have a talking stick. And if you want to come sit with me and feel better, you can come sit with me. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't need anything. Just come sit at the park. And he has had me doing that. And in the process of doing that, when he left, I had a tribe of people. I would never be alone. I think it in my head and then delivering it to the door.
Yeah. I remember seeing that. And that's like I said, observing your posts from the moment I think you were getting yourself prepared and we seen you getting prepared. We seen when it happened. We seen how after it happened. We seen some of I want to say with all of this. I know we didn't see the whole thing, but we seen some of and so then we seen some of how you accepted what was happening. Um and then being strong is what I want to say and I know it's probably not all the time being strong, but for the majority of what we are allowed to see from you is your strength of the knowingness. First of all, I want to say maybe of the love that you guys share, the purpose of your love, and then it didn't just affect the there and then, it's still affecting other people around it. Obviously, I know if I one who we've never spoken other excuse me, that in comments and maybe a message saying I love your post or whatever, if I was affected and recognized it, I know the hundred others and thousands others on your page has also. So I think that is such a great way of example by leading by example to show other people too, not how it's done, but that it can be done, and then you have to find what works for you of how it can be done.
I find most definitely that you have to, anytime someone said to me, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss," I had to immediately, instead of feel that vibration in my body, I had to physically rise out of my body and say, "I've won the love lottery.
Yeah,
I've won the love lottery." He's louder in death than he ever was alive.
yeah,
He is here with me. He
yeah,
is louder. He is standing up. I had to, for every diminishing that was handed to me, and look, it's a lot.
yeah.
That was where I could use my strength, where I could turn the tides for myself. And I think this is what people need to know is where do I turn the tides for myself when I'm drowning and people show up to help me and then they make me drown more? Where
Yeah.
do you turn the tides? You turn the tides the minute somebody says, I'm sorry, say, oh, no, 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 no. I'm
Yeah.
in a relationship right now that everything's perfectly for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I'm missing the body. Every time I would say I'm missing the body, he would say, darling, I gave up the body. I gave up the body already. Why are you still hanging on to it?
Yeah.
And in those first 3 months of just turning those tides and turning those tides, because, 90 days of creating, 90 days of telling everyone, not your way, my way,
Hmm.
is what shifts
Yeah.
what is coming
I
to
want to
you.
jump in real quick because you just made me remember. Especially, I was at a restaurant when my daughter was diagnosed with cancer, and people would see, and they would see her, and they'd be like, "Oh, poor." One of my things I can't stand people saying is "bless their little souls," because to me that just is "bless their little souls" or "bless their little heart" is what they say down here in the South. But that, or like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," like you said. And I used to say, don't feel sorry. Don't. First of all, I don't want that energy of sorriness. I want your energy of saying, bless her. That I stand in faith with you. I pray, whatever your religious
She's so
belief is,
damn
even if
strong. I
it's
take that cancer and I spit it out of her right now.
say something else than that, but that I'm sorry, contribute, and I would block that energy off. Like you said, I made a choice to block that energy off and says, I believe and know that my daughter is going to be healed. I control the energy, in other words, then that was coming to
Yeah.
me because I know they meant well. Okay, don't get me wrong. I can stand when they said it, but I know from not knowing space where their heart really was in saying that. But I hope more people become aware now too. When you even say something as really be aware of what you're saying to people because it is a force of vibration of energy that goes towards that, and it can multiply what's there already.
It does.
So yeah, so to be really aware of that.
It will wrap people up for the rest of their lives. It will bind them for years and
Yes.
unable to get out of this tide of creation.
Yes.
And, luckily for me, this was not a shock to me. It was something that I asked for,
Yeah.
something I do. Emotional, nevertheless. I mean, to be given a friend, to be given a partner. I used to ask, why, as we as humans, do we rush into having animals? We know they're not going to spend the rest of our life with us. Why do we want that? That I'm going to tell you, the experience of loss and maintaining your happiness, that core happiness of yourself, and allowing the sands to change and the waves to come, knowing that there's going to be sand that's solid underneath you and the water's, I mean, that's a real place to be.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
What
So we're gonna get ready to wrap up in a few moments here, but I just want to say, what are some of your daily practice that you say to yourself, or that you think to yourself, or that you do that helps you stay in vibration? Because I know every day, even if you have the same routine, I would say to one of my friends that we spoke every morning says it would be it's a different day. I'm sorry. It's the same day, but different vibration because it's the same routine I got up this morning and did, but the vibration of the day feels different. And so the emotions of the day can feel different when you wake up too. So I know some mornings you probably wake up and you're good. You know he's there and you feel him. And there's some mornings you get up and it can be down. I don't know. I don't want to label to what it feels like, but it will be down. And what do you do when you have those days and you wake up and you feel like down? What are some of the things that you do to lift yourself up?
dancing, um,
My
you know,
favorite.
I'm very good about, because of those first 4 or 5 months of my decision to not allow the I'm sorry's, but to say that he's louder to me. Now I'm finding that on the minute I feel him now, instead of feeling the missing, I feel his presence, and I feel my ability, just as if he was standing next to me, to just lean into that. And my body has the same response that it did when he was alive. I feel like we've manifested what is possible. So I also feel like people get down because, you know, the physical dependency, and this was something that I had. He took care of me perfectly. But then I also watched the entire universe bring everybody in to take care of me until I want to take care of myself.
Yeah.
So
So what it sounds like to me, what you said
every
is that
day
you feel. I'm
I,
sorry. Go ahead.
I would just say that I live every day in conversation with my highest self. And on the other side of my self, of my God self, is him. So my in loving him, this is what I say, I have the love lottery, because I can't get to him until I go to myself first.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
I have become him. I am taking his path. I'm taking his walks. I find myself today. I mean, I need one of these days to tell you about the amazing, miraculous. I found a person and helped him, someone who is going to allow him to live through them and love his New Orleans the way that he wants to. I mean, I met this man. He opened the car door and said, "Who's your husband?" I told him, and I said, "Do you know my husband?" He said, "I am him. I know everything."
Wow.
And then this man asked me to remove a brain tumor from his head and agreed to be the medicine man on a porch in the middle of the Bywater in New Orleans, Louisiana, and teach the indigenous natural children there that they are of power and
I
can.
got not only chills, but I've got like a heat wave over me hearing that. That's amazing. So we're gonna have to have you come on another time and talk about you medicine woman. Okay, because
Okay.
I have a time, I have another live I'm gonna get ready to do in a few moments. But like I said, I knew you were coming on here to share something good. I know when my intuition tells me, hey, reach out to this person, there's something good in there. And it did for you. I did not know we were going to talk about love today, but it was something, like I said, my heart so needed to hear so many of the things you shared. I feel even closer to you. I thank you so much for taking time to come on with me. I hope you come back on again and talk about your medicine, being a medicine woman, because my grandmother is a bush medicine woman as well. So I know lots and lots of stuff, and we can share together some of the things
I
that we know.
I love that. I love your face. I am eternally grateful for you in my life, and you have a cheerleader forever in me.
Same here. Thank you. I love you too.
I love you.
Okay, you have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Okay. Oh my gosh. There was a couple of times throughout that conversation I felt a huge ball, almost like the one that they're doing the video game, felt flood to my head and my heart and everything in my DNA. I know I want to cry right now, but the message was so good. It was for me too, in my personal life. I hope you got gems from it. Continue to send my friend Sunny love and blessings, because even I know she is full of love vibration, and to continue lifting her up in that, so that she continues being a light also in the world. You guys stay tuned. I'm coming right back with Brian Anthony. Brian, I see you on here. I love you. I'm getting ready to talk to you in a few moments. You guys stay tuned. I'll be right back.